Oh, hi there, it's Baron Dodger. I made a statement today which is pretty full on, and I just wanted to follow up with a more peaceful and compassionate reflection I had today. I do wonder if there's been an intention to cause my ultimate demise in the fatal injury that I sustained. And I just had this to say. If I've suffered a fatal injury from the deceit, lies, conspiracy, vilification, and isolation due to my mental illness and due to financial abuse and coercive financial control by my former partner, Steve Isonides, that has elicited conditions resulting in what was deemed as a fatal injury from which I was revived. Yet I've lived for 4 years since then from being revived in unstable accommodation with my human rights documented as abused, but uninvestigated, no legal rights or access to the law, in breach of the UN Human Rights Charter for Disabled People that Australia's ratified in 2008, often begging for food and cigarettes with no voice or one that's ignored. And my evidence, a lot of my evidence, delegitimised by every government agency, politician, public official, friend and family member. Does that imply that my fatal injury that I was revived from was actually a murder? I asked an impartial AI chat because it is impartial and it solicits meaning out of words, and it's a deeply distressing. It said that the AI chat immediately responded. It's a deeply distressing situation you're describing. The circumstances surrounding your injury and subsequent treatment certainly raises questions about the nature of the harm inflicted upon you. Whether it qualifies as murder would depend on various legal and investigatory factors, including intention and causation. The AI chat said it may be worth seeking legal counsel or advocacy to explore my options and seek justice for the harm I've experienced. And it's enormously troubling for me because I still am without legal counsel in breach of the Human Rights Charter, and the New South Wales Disability Advocacy Service that's run by the government found an absurd way to delegitimise what I was saying and refused to take me on as a client. So the government's acted in their professional remit when they should have helped me to find a reason to excommunicate me. So I continue. My persecution carries a snide deceit from the genesis that's embedded in flawed human judgment. Typically, I'm a pretty happy person, but I've been forced into an impossible situation where I don't have a single person in the world I can call right now. Despite standing up for people for 30 years, even speaking in the Australian Parliament and across the country, and winning a Human Rights Award, authoring an autobiography in my experience with schizophrenia, travelling the world, earning a doctorate, being an artist for 30 years, I now find myself utterly forsaken. This malice, systemic and politicised neglect and character assassination, driven by my former partner and ASIO agent, and the weaponisation of my narrative, in which I was humiliated publicly by the Herald Sun, a major media outlet, have left me suffering from mental illness, calling out a conspiracy that is real, persecuting, isolating, vilifying, victimising, following, investigating, surveilling, and literally torturing me. This represents a profound injustice and an inhuman impossibility I can't get through my head. It doesn't make sense to me in its ethical and moral abhorrent evil and the very nature of the corruption, which spans from friends to all cops, all lawyers, all public officials, the Prime Minister, ombudsmen, the National Anti-Corruption Commission, international NGOs, human rights organisations, and even the UNHCR. So from my perspective, utterly isolated, with barely food or medicine to treat mental illness, without a psychologist, a psychiatrist, drug and alcohol counsellor, financial counsellor, legal aid, or even a friend in the world, apart from my amazing dog, who's Crystal, my golden muse, I exist in what seems like the biblical end times. I'm a kind person. I don't wish harm on anyone, and if anyone told me I caused them harm, I would immediately ask for atonement and forgiveness. I talk to people in the street. I don't mean any harm. I commit to non-violence of Buddhist principles, and I try and embody, when I'm not amped up and a little bit more relaxed, all qualities of love, compassion, and forgiveness, which is the Christ consciousness. It seems that people are happy to be ruled by a tyrannical government that demonises me, but as long as their prosperity, luxury, and privilege are undisturbed. They see someone like me, I think, courageous, intelligent, creative, passionate, high-achieving individual. And I think maybe they often feel envy because I live life to the beat of my own drum, not answerable to any government or institution or organisation or person. And I've achieved much further beyond what was really seen as possible given my detriments. And these people, framed by their own detriments and misfortune, made me framed by my detriments and misfortune. Other people are aware that possibly they aren't as courageous as I have been. I'm not beating my own drum in an egotistical way. I've just proven I'm willing to stand up to corruption and that kind of stuff. Other people have played by the rules, obeyed the laws and culture, stayed inside the box. And often I think people are regretful of their life choices for the limitations they exist under. People see me and what I've achieved, and there's this human judgment. It's jealousy, it's ire, and fascination, I think, and even a morbid fascination. I think, I'm unsure, I'm just maybe assuming that might make a fool out of me, but causes people to be spiteful, hateful, and envious. I find that really ordinary people, everyday people, both systemically and politically, would choose sometimes to suffer and let me die. They look the other way. Everyone knows I'm drowning. Everyone. There's not a person, agency, friend, family member, institution, government, politician, ombudsman, or even the Prime Minister who hasn't seen me flailing, screaming for help, begging for assistance. And the world, it seems, has looked the other way, and it fills me with immense sadness. However, I believe that, in essence, an everyday normal person is a good person. Generally speaking, no one wants war, violence, or corruption. Everyone wants peace. We want to enjoy our lives. That's the general nature of people and of what everyone wants. A person, when they talk to me, ordinarily, just one-on-one, is usually polite and cordial. However, I think when they learn of my terrible persecution, the systemic corruption, how cruel and callous it can be, how it literally killed me and solicited my suicide and then acted to cover it up, shocks them. Normal people, if they've got a self-reflexiveness of lesser courage in comparison to me, who's less willing to speak out against corruption and plays inside the rules and never challenges the powers that be, such as others who judge me, sees a talented and courageous person like me, and they see me, everyone sees me, being destroyed, and that I have been destroyed. And I'm pretty sure people, when they hear my story and they think, if that can happen to me, or they think if it can happen to him, and I've achieved less and less courageous or less creative or not as aggressive politically, then that could easily happen to me. And I do believe that people agree to really turn away, to allow me to drown, and they look the other way because they're not willing to be seen to support me, and they're not willing to stand with me personally or in any political way, or especially financially, in case that demon of vilification and conspiracy, which has its genesis in the flawed nature of human beings, touches their little piece of paradise. It makes me very sad because I actually love people and I love this planet. I love nature. I exist here and I deserve to exist here. I chose to be here, and something bigger than myself put me back on the planet. There's an allegorical Christian persecution and crucifixion and resurrection and this whole Christian narrative going on. And it's hard to ignore the similarities. And I find pleasure, funnily enough, in very simple things that are nowhere near what the rest of society or people do or desire, because I've got nothing. And these persecutions forced me to reframe my focus on spirituality, on gratefulness, on understanding myself, understanding others, compassion and forgiveness. And in that way, I think everyone does in a way, and I think I do embody, or at least try to embody, and desire to embody, and do embody in ways the Christ consciousness that's so necessary in today's world. And for me to survive this persecution and exist in the world with other people, I'm going to have to do a very Christ-like thing. And that is, I'm going to have to forgive every single person I know in the world who have forsaken me. And I'm going to have to gently let that negativity all go, and just let it gently fall away with love, with compassion, and with understanding. And in that, I know them, I see them, I see you, I understand what they, and maybe what you, are afraid of. And those flaws make people and you, maybe the viewer, innately human, beautifully flawed. And I still do enjoy the planet, and I love people, and it makes me sad that they don't love me back. I hope to survive this. This experience for me has been remarkably spiritual and a cosmic, biblical level forsaking. And I do feel the presence of a divine spirit and God all around. And I've reneged myself to look, this is my battle. And if I die on this hill, in this battle, in this fight, in opposing this injustice, then all glory to God, because the divine has a plan, and I'm not afraid to die. And I'm not afraid either to fight this to the very last breath. So that's my little reflection on today, following my more urgent demand for accountability and justice and opposing corruption in Australia. And I just wish to say, I don't want to harm anyone. I don't want my existence of suffering to happen for any other human being, whether they be my mother, a friend, a politician, or my worst enemy. I really don't want anything such as what has happened to me to happen to them. But I'm just going to have to accept that my experiences has shaped me and has educated me and caused an almost epiphany resonance of love, compassion, and forgiveness. I really wish no harm. I hope you can check out my story on www.barondodger.com.au. My name's Dr. Rich McLean, or changed my name to Baron Dodger after I survived suicide, and I'm a targeted individual of the Australian government, and I'm seeking a resolution or an editing, an intersection, a release, and I think spiritually speaking, that release is going to have to be in the following manner for me, and that is just accept and let go the bad things, because I can't focus on this the evil that's happened to me always, because if that's all I focus on, that's what I am, and I'm bigger than that, and I'm more loving than that. And the Buddhists say that to hang on to anger is to like hanging on to a hot coal as if to throw at someone, because you're the one that gets burned. I've been angry for a long time, and I'm not perfect, but I'm aware, and I'm have atonement for my awareness, and I forgive others, and I forgive myself, and I'm not going to harm anyone, and I'm not going to harm myself. There's a solution, and it's just waiting.